Okay, at this time, the meeting has been called to order, and a quorum is present. Now, if you will, we'll have the pledge of allegiance, and then follow with the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ruben, you want to have the prayer?
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for everything done for us. Thank you for guiding us and helping us in this circumstance that we're in right now. Lord, that you give us wisdom and continue blessing us and bless ourselves and bless this sea grace. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. At this time, we will have the roll call. Alderman Ruben Vallis.
Here.
Alderman Shannon Wathick.
Here.
Alderman Deborah Middleton.
Here.
Charles Evans, Mayor, here. Alderman Kendra Sellers.
Here.
And Alderman Cindy Durham.
Here.
Let it be documented, please, that all council members are present. Next on the agenda is the approved the minutes of the previous meetings.
I got one, Dan.
Okay.
Charles, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Number 8. Talking about the zoning issue involving the pre-manufactured structure already placed in corner permit without a permit. On here, we had voted and passed it. Kendra made a motion and I seconded it, and it was not documented on our minute. And I know it says right here that the mayor tabled it. If I read right, the Robert Rules of Law, we didn't make a motion to table this issue, and we didn't vote on it. Correct me if I'm wrong or not.
I couldn't
No.
really answer that. That's something you'll want to talk to the mayor about.
Yes, we tabled that issue because what was the reason why we tabled that? But we don't vote on when you table it. I know that, but it's something that we can't complete. We don't have enough documentation or backup. We have to table it.
Even after we made a motion and seconded.
Yes, but you should always, even after you do that, actually, you're supposed to ask for a further discussion. And in that, whatever comes out of that, then you decide. If there's no more discussions, then, you go ahead on and follow through and say the motion passed. Does that answer?
Charles,
Yes.
Mayor, the reason I think you did that is because he didn't pay for his permit to go before to even ask for the grievance. And after, you had already we voted, and then you realized that he didn't even go through that process to where Renee could send the letters out and everything. So that's when you tabled it.
Yeah, and also, Kevin brought up that reminded us of you're supposed to send the letter out to all the neighbors.
Right.
And that's the reason why we tabled it.
Yes.
I got something.
Okay.
I was just asking why it was not documented. That's the only thing. I didn't want to bring it up. I just want to know why it was not on the minutes, because we did make a motion and we did second it, and it was not in the minute. That's the only thing I am asking on this issue.
Yeah.
And then.
Okay. I mean, we can include that. Dan, can Can you make that correction?
Well, the whole discussion and all that is on the recording. These
Oh.
minutes were just for you all to have a synopsis of what we'd gone through. I did say on the minutes that Director Goodyear stated that the placement blah, but no permit sought, no application for variance, a discussion of the building code, and that the matter should be handled through the variance procedure. So, well, I'll be happy to put it in there, but I thought that the spirit of the written minutes was going to be just documenting action items and
That,
not a lot of discussion in writing, but whatever you direct me to do, I'll be happy to do.
no, you're correct. That's what's supposed to happen, like that's what I had said earlier. The discussion would be just recorded, but the only thing was documented like in the past was anything that we took action on. And no action was taken. It was tabled. And that's the reason why it was not only in the minutes, but it is in the recording. Does that answer your question, Ruben?
Yes, sir.
Is there any more discussion, any more questions on the minutes? I guess I need a motion.
Make a motion that I'm Cindy Durham. I make a motion that we approve the minutes, the meeting from April 14th, regular session.
Alderman Cindy Durham made a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that. This is Kendra Sellers, and I'll second that motion.
Motion has been made and seconded by Alderman Kendra Sellers. All in favor?
Aye.
Alderman Cindy Durham,
Aye.
Alderman Ruben Weiss,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Wadzik,
Aye.
Alderman Deborah Middleton, and Alderman Kendra Sellers.
Aye.
Is there any further discussions? If not, motion passed. Next on the agenda is the variance hearing of Armando Garcia. I think everybody having their package. I guess the letter that Renee had sent out to all, I guess to the neighbors. And Renee, do you have any more other than the one that's in the package?
I believe so. I received total of 11 back of the 25 that I sent out. 8 were against, 3 had no opinion.
Well, discussion.
This is Hamilton,
Go ahead, Deborah.
and it has been brought to our attention. Don't know if it's hearsay, do not have anything in writing, or have heard that one of our local businesses, the barber, had to shut down because of COVID-19. And we have been told, several council members have been told that Mr. Garcia's son was cutting people's hair in the building, was not using it for storage. And I just want to know if anyone has proof. Is that true? Has he been turned? Does Rick Vasquez, the chief, do you know anything about that?
I'm not aware of the barbershop, when they were or weren't cutting, I guess, hair. As far as I know, every time I've drove by, it has been closed down.
No.
Okay.
I have not heard anything about it. No one has said anything to me about it. I haven't checked it out. Renee Goodger.
Mm.
This is Kendra Sellers, and I am one of the. I've had several complaints within the last few weeks that that building was being used as a barber shop / tattoo shop. They were
Wow.
doing tattoos and cutting hair. And that was again, hearsay, I don't know for a fact, but that was their intention for that building, was to continue to do that, and it was not going to be used for storage. Again, I can't back that up. That's just what I'm being told. And so therefore you've got another issue besides just where that's located. There would be an ordinance against having a business in a residential, part of town, I'm assuming, if that's the case.
Mayor,
Judge Sellers.
he's muted. You're muted.
Yeah, but he can hear us.
Yeah. What you got?
Judge Sellers.
Yes.
Hey, would it be appropriate to get a search warrant to see what's going on there? Is that necessary?
That would be up to the PD, but I don't think, I mean, that's up to Rick, not me.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the best next step. I mean, we got enough complaints already that the neighbors don't want it there. So I think we need to base our decision based on the results that have been sent back in, plus this other rumor. That's my opinion. I think we should not allow it. I mean, that's you guys can have some input, but based on that, I don't know what would if we allowed, and they will allow the neighbors have already spoken their piece, and we allowed. I don't know how we're gonna get much respect from them.
Mayor, can I say something?
Sure.
The best way I guess we could look into this is to do the fact finding. I can look the fact finding in on that and go ahead and look into it. And once we get some cold hard facts, I can check with the judge and some other folks and make sure that the appropriate action is taken that we can take legally.
Okay. But I mean, we'll have to table it again, I guess. We may have to have a special meeting. I don't know, but
Can I say something, Charles?
Sure.
You know, I don't think it's an issue whether it's a barber shop or not. It's an issue where the building can stay there.
Yes.
Well, the neighbors the one who responded have made their decision. So we sent it out to them, and based on what the results was, I guess that's what we should be doing. Make our decision based on those results.
Yes.
So
Do you
I
need
guess
a
we need a
motion?
vote. Yes, we need a motion. We need a motion and a second.
I make a motion that the variance hearing for Armando Garcia, that we stand by the citizens that got the letter, and the vote was 8-3 out of 5, and that the building will need to be moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Deborah Milton. Do I have a second?
Shannon Wadzik, seconds.
And Alderman Shannon has second. All in favor? Alderman Ruben Weiss,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Wadzik,
Aye.
Alderman Deborah Milton,
Aye.
Alderman Kendra Sellers.
Aye.
What was that?
Aye.
Okay. Alderman Sidney Durham. Sidney, I didn't hear you.
Ah,
Okay.
my voice.
A motion that, are there any more discussion before we finalize?
Mayor,
Yes.
I got a suggestion or what, but we got to fix this system. We got to figure out what we're doing wrong in this. I mean, we did a variancy board, you know, we need to figure out how we're going to do this. When the next issue comes up, are we going to have a variancy board or we're going to stay us ourselves?
We probably gonna have to be the variance board. I mean,
Okay.
that's my opinion.
Now-
I mean, just,
We've been on this for already over, since I've been on here, you know, talking about getting a variancy board, a zoning board, all that stuff, and we're still not have anything yet. So I guess on the next meeting we need to have is put this on the agenda and start selecting people to be on the variancy board. And then that way we don't go through this again. That way we can get a hard fact. Like if there's rumors about, you know, what he's doing there or what, you know, at least we get some good code facts on that, because we need something like that.
so you mean we need to set up another variance board other than the council?
I mean, I know, we don't have one. Do we still continue want to do this? I mean, do you want to continue being a variance board, or do we need to select a group of people to do that? And also the zoning board and all these other stuff that we have not got that stable.
Yeah, I agree with the zoning board for sure. I mean, that needs to be relooked at, really does, because, but we can't really discuss it right now at this meeting, but we can, but.
Yeah, but
hear
I mean,
what you're saying.
on the next meeting, we can put that on the agenda if we can.
Yeah, good, yeah, I agree. Okay, going forward with this motion, since there are the discussions on the variance hearing for Armando Garza, motion has passed to have him to remove the building.
So for the record, sir, the variance before the board is denied.
Yes, correct.
Renee Goodger,
Yes,
will there be a time frame set? Is there a by date that it has to be removed?
yeah, I think we need to give him time. I don't know what's sufficient, what, month, 2 weeks? What do you guys think?
I think we need to get, this is Alderman Middleton. I think we need to give him 30 days because it has been 30 days since our last meeting. And I will go ahead and throw my 2 cents in. I do believe what Ruben is saying about the boards and stuff. We need to get that on the agenda and get that taken care of.
I agree, 100%.
And the variance hearing that we've heard today, the reason that we are, not allowing it is because, of the ordinance, and because the people that the letters were sent out, there were 8 against.
Yes, and 3 with no opinion, one way or the other, so,
And that's what we need to be sure and let him know.
okay.
Renee?
Yes,
is
sir.
it would it be appropriate to have a letterhead addressed to him, signed by the mayor as chair of the variance board, informing him of the decision and the time frame that he has to remove that?
That would be very good.
Right.
Yes.
I'll see
I
to
would
that.
generally write the letter, but yeah, that would be fine.
All right.
Sounds good.
That's what I thought.
Okay, next on the agenda is discussing possible action regarding the real property acquisition. I just recently talked with Carol Mailer, I guess it was Saturday, and I was trying to find out what was the holdup, you know, since her mother had passed. And I know we had went back to her and made an offer of 425,000 if we could, I'm sorry, 225,000 if, you know, we could speed up the process. And however, they kind of got it mixed up. They thought that's all we wanted to pay. So that's when she requested a copy of all of our minutes from last year up to current. And I guess somewhere in there, you know, the original, what they wanted for that property was 300,000, and then we passed a resolution to give me the authority to make an offer, and I made them an offer of 250,000. So she made a statement to me that she said, "Well, I don't know if we want to take that right now." I said, she said someone else was interested in the property. They may want 300,000. I said, well, I can tell you, we're not, that's not in our budget for our grant alone is only 250,000. So the latest she said she would get back with me tomorrow, but I guess since then, Dan says pretty much everything has been approved. So, but we just haven't got the money yet. So anyway, that's some good news. And so I'm sure the next time we talk, I'm sure they'll accept that. But that's all I know on that part of it. The other thing, I guess, I don't know what has happened with the properties that we was buying just west of us. Are we going to continue to pursue that to try to construct a city hall / police department? Because right now it's at a standstill. I think they're waiting on us to see what we're going to do. So, we are going to have to do something with our city hall one way or the other because of this COV virus that we got, 19 virus we got out right now. We're going to have to do something. Either, you know, we're going to have to either modify it or build another one. Something will have to happen, or we're going to be, you know, we still do have the interlocal agreement with the county on the community building, but it's really, it's okay, but it's not very good when we do executive sessions.
Mayor Evans,
Yes.
Alderman Middleton, what lots are you talking about? We've already purchased the ones behind the police department, I thought.
No, we hadn't purchased them. I think we got the approval. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, what we have is commitment letters on all 3 properties from the abstract company, contracts ready to be signed, money ready to be paid, but no one has actually met at the abstract company and signed the contracts and paid anybody. So I assume that's up to the real estate broker who put the whole thing together to arrange that meeting and execute these contracts. I don't know where we are though.
Do you want me to call and find out?
Yeah, Cindy.
Let me call and find out. We can do a lot of stuff with DocuSign. I'm not sure they'd have to be there, really.
No, you don't. I mean, you're right.
I thought that's what we had voted on, that we would, well,
Whatever, we need to start the wheels back rolling on that process. I mean, maybe, I don't know, at this time, rather than hold the meeting up, I think we should move forward because we do need to look at starting it back up wherever the ball was dropped. We need to, tomorrow, I'll give it Dan and we'll see what we need to do to get things started again. So we can go forward with it. I don't know where we are, but we need to start it up again. But I will get with Dan tomorrow and John Perkins with USDA and see what we need to do to start back up.
Mayor Evans,
Yes.
Alder Middleton again, but if other council members, let me know, but I thought we had already asked Dan to follow up with that and to get the checks issued and to do the paperwork that was supposed to do to get that taken care of. And I thought that's been like February.
Now you're talking about just the purchasing of the properties, the 4 properties.
Isn't that
Yeah.
what we're talking about?
Yeah, right.
Well, like I said, we voted to approve it. The 3 people that owned it had agreed on the values, and I thought we had already voted on this for Dan to proceed.
Okay.
Except with them.
Shannon?
If I may, with all
Yes, Dan.
respect, I don't have the authority to sign contracts like that for the city. I'm the city secretary, but it would take the mayor and a council action to actually, you're right, Alderman. You did say to go forward with it. There was a snag on one of the properties where the Crenshaw, whatever, we wound up getting a better price on it. I know that Bailey got us a good price. Excuse that, that's the scanner.
The National in Midland has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern
But
County in western Texas.
it's going to take the mayor to sign the contracts. I can't do that. I can write the checks. But to follow up and get the contracts, are sitting at the abstract company, as far as I know. They're all ready to go. I do have records of the commitments. I've done everything you asked me to do.
Hazard 60 miles an hour with gusts.
Alderman Bias here.
Yes.
Why did that got signed like a month ago or something already taken care of already? This should already been done then. If it's sitting there, why has it had not been done yet?
Or brought up to someone to let
Or
them know
brought
to get it taken care of.
Our
Sorry.
last,
Shannon
no,
wants it.
you're, like our last meeting, how come, on the agenda, okay, is there ready to sign? Let's move on.
Okay, like I said earlier, I will give it Dan tomorrow and we'll start that process back up. We'll do whatever it takes. But, when we do, we're going to have to sit down again and do things in order, how we're going to move forward. I mean, that's one step, but then we got to get architects and engineers involved and whatever. But I'm sure we'll get some guidance from USDA on how to move forward. Once we say we have got some properties identified and purchased, then we can put the ball back in their hands. But I'll start that tomorrow with Dan.
Mayor,
Yes, Shannon.
Shannon Wadzik. I know that Dan is wanting to get this done and wanting to move forward. I see that probably the quickest thing that's going to be done is to add on to what we have. Get the engineers started, like we've all sit here and said. We've all discussed it. We've already said what we need to do. we can get that land signed and all that stuff done, but we need to figure out with the USDA about getting the bid started and getting everything done to get it going. It should have been done 2 months ago. I mean, we've discussed it till the wheels broke.
So what are you saying? Modify the existing building? What are you saying?
Yes, let's get it modified. Let's get it added on to and be done with it. That's what I've said from the whole get-go. You can add on to that office. It doesn't have to be all brand new.
Okay, let me say one thing, Sean, to make sure, because might be wrong, but I think USDA looked at John Perkins, and his recommendation was not to modify the building. It almost had to be completely torn down because of, I think, the hallways and the restroom.
Okay, the lady that was brought in with Renee, did you bring her in, or who brought the lady in that said that we're not holding all this up on the bathroom? You can add another hallway and a bathroom to the south end of it.
But I think her boss, John Perkins, is the first one that said that. I mean, we have to go back through that. But I remember I was saying a letter on that. I mean, the whole big write-up on it. It had a lot to do with I think they call it a 6A or something like that, for the handicap. But I can follow up on that, but I know he did say something like it would almost have to be completely torn down if we're gonna qualify for the handicaps, including the restrooms and all the other modifications. I mean, but I can say that, but that was just kind of almost two different projects, but we didn't want to hold up the acquisition of the wastewater plant for that. We was trying to get them all in the same project. Dan, do you remember anything about that?
I'm sorry, I'm still catching all of this stuff. I can't shut it off. What did you ask me, sir?
You know, what was that John Perkins had said earlier about the modification of the existing city hall?
He didn't, I don't know if it's his opinion or what, but he didn't think that there was any way to make the existing city hall fit what we would need. I don't know if that's based on the footprint that the city hall has right now. I know that I did talk to him about the possibility of using the property that we're talking about, buying those 3 lots, rather than everything that John Perkins had looked at going up until Miss McAnally was at the meeting you're speaking of, Deborah, was all predicated on using the Main Street frontage. And all the studies that he had done and all of the preparatory work he had made was all based on that. Using the properties behind City Hall was something he hadn't thought of. I don't think he's necessarily just dead set against it, but I will say that the last time I spoke with Mr. Perkins was shortly after Ms. McAnally was here. Maybe they had been talking about it themselves, but he called me up and he asked me, are we going to do the Main Street frontage? And I said, no, they voted against that. That is dead. And he said, so then fine, I'll stop bothering with it. And that's where he left it with me. Also, Ms. McAnally is helping us with the wastewater treatment. That's what she's been working on. Mr. Perkins is the representative from USDA that handles the facilities, the facilities upgrade loads, that other division. So they're 2 different projects with 2 different bosses.
Central Time Tuesday. This watch includes the following.
May I say something, Renee Goodger?
Yes, Renee.
I understand the ideas of remodeling the existing city hall, but just keep in mind that these folks at City Hall have to maintain business while this is going on. They have nowhere else to go, and all those buildings are made, that building is made of cinder block, and it would be a gargantuan event to start tearing it down and remodeling and then expecting them to have business there. Just saying.
Shannon Wadzik, that was where we had talked about getting the module trailers, putting it on the land that we already own, already have our name on, putting them in a temporary building as has done all over the county for government offices. Temporary building, opposite caddy corner from there. Put them in that while the remodeling's done. We have beat this to death.
Yes.
Either build a new building, get an engineer on it, get a new building, or add on.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. We really need to do something. But you know, if we want to consider that, I guess we need some professional help for somebody to come in and just we kind of work with them and tell them what we want and let them tell us, you know, what the cost, what's the best choice of the two, and go from there. I don't think we're capable of making that decision ourselves. I don't think we should. I think we should get someone that's some professional to come in and engineers and architects and look at it, and we tell them what we want and let them give us the right direction.
Okay, then what is the holdup as to why we have not already took some steps towards that?
Well,
Agreed.
If I may,
go ahead.
the law for this kind of thing, and I've sent you all of this, I know I have, the attorneys have advised us that when it comes to this type of a project, the very first thing we must do is set out requests for qualifications from architectural and engineering firms. We cannot select a local builder simply because they're a local builder. That's against the Texas Constitution. So the steps are, first we have to send out requests for qualifications to architectural firms. We can get a list of prospective firms. Then we have to appoint a committee to select the architectural firm, and then we can begin to consult with them. So it's not a matter of we just pick up a phone book and call somebody.
Okay, I
there
understand
are
that,
steps.
Dan. I understand that, but you've wanted a new building. We all know that it needs to be done. We know that the hallway is not big. We know that it doesn't meet handicap requirements. Who needs to make that step to get that letter sent out, to get the appropriate people in on board, to get this started?
I would assume that would be something that the council would have to decide. I have no authority to act that way independently.
See,
We got to find out who's been. I guess I don't know. I guess we can talk to our lawyer, let him give us some advice. But someone has to.
I'll put together. I've done this. I've been to the lawyer. I've got the statutes. I've sent it to you. I'll put it together again, and I'll send it to you all again. How it needs to be done. I can contact Mr. Perkins again and see if he still has funding available for the community facility to finance it. Right now, we have no financing for that. And it's not that I want a city hall. It's what I understood was going to be necessary in order for this other project. All I can do is assemble information and seek advice for you all and pass that on to you. The decisions have to be yours, though.
Okay, if you don't mind, Dan, would you do that again and send it to us again and let us start? We need to start back if that's what we need to do.
Yes, sir. I'll get on that right away.
Mayor,
Yes, Cindy.
Cindy Durham, I just got off the phone with Bailey, and she says that the last time she checked was just a few days ago, that the Leftwich contract wasn't complete, that the appraisal, the abstract office was, no, not the Permian Basin abstract, was still had a little problem that they had to get settled with that. And the other two contracts are ready, but she just would assume that you would want to wait till all of them are. But she said she will get with Crystal and Permian Basin tomorrow and see where the where it is. They want to sell it, but there's something to do with the estate that they can't. I guess nobody knows who to sign. They've agreed to sell it, but they don't know who gets to sign, I guess. But I mean, yeah. She'll let me know tomorrow, and I'll send y'all all a update.
Okay, if you'll do that, and in the meanwhile, Dan, I'll go ahead and start sending out another package to us, and we can, I guess, start from scratch again. Look like we can't do anything anyway until we can get that cleared, but we can still start the whole process back up where we left off.
Mayor Evans, Alderman Middleton.
Yes, Deborah.
I would like to say on this subject that we're talking about, Dan doesn't need to resend that to us. We all have it. What we need is USDA, because the last time we heard from USDA was Mrs. McAnally. Mr. Perkins has not been back. She's the one that told us that this loan that we are applying for has nothing to do with having a new building built. We were under the assumption that that's what we were going to have to do in order to get that loan. Whenever she February and told us that, we discussed it then. We talked about getting a feasibility study on what we needed. We got stuff from Wink, Texas Police Department. Do y'all remember that? We looked at all of that. And since then, nothing has been done. And so we can sit here and say what we want to do, but us five are not in that office to get it done. Now, he can send all of that to us again, but we all have it. And I think either we need Mr. Perkins to come down from USDA, or we need a feasibility study. And if it is our attorney that we start with, but we need a feasibility study to know what we need as a community of 2,500 people in order to know, do we need a new building or can we remodel? That's where we've left it. And that was back in February. And maybe someone else speak up, but I'm like Shannon, we just keep repeating and not getting anything done.
I think maybe we can, tomorrow, maybe we could just even call Mr. Perkins and just see what he recommended. And then from that point, we'll move forward. I don't know anything else to do other than that right now. Just let him say, okay, what do we need to do? And go from there. That's all I'm going to do. I'm ready to get it over as much as anybody. I get it started for sure. So I guess with that said, I mean, there's nothing else we can do tonight. If we can talk about it, but if we can do anything else, I see what needs to be done. I agree. I know we need a feasibility study, and we need some professional guidance, but we can do that.
And Office Mayor Evans, again, Alderman Middleton, but please make sure that's on the agenda for next month. And if we can have Mr. Perkins be there, to tell us how, or not Mr. Perkins, but Mrs. McAnally, to tell us, how our loan is standing on the wastewater plant that we're working on.
But that's what I said earlier. It has been approved. Dan got a letter today. That part has been approved. We haven't got the money yet.
If I may, this letter is from Ed Haggett, who is the state director of the USDA, and it reads, "Dear Mayor Evans, congratulations on being selected to receive $4,099,000 water and wastewater loan for the city of Seagraves. We have enclosed a form RD 1940-1 request for obligation of funds. This form indicates that on April 27th, the USDA Rural Development Loan for $4,099,000 for the city of Seagraves has been approved. The USDA Rural Development works to support sustainable development of rural communities and improve the quality of life in rural areas." So you have the loan. The loan is there.
Mayor Evans, Alderman Middleton again. Then to conclude what I was saying, then why are we worrying about a city hall right now when our loan has been approved? Let's get the water sewer plant going. And in the meantime, let's get a feasibility study of what we can do for either a new city hall or to add on. But our loan has been approved. We need to quit bringing up city hall right now till we can get this wastewater plant going. We've got to worry about how it's going to be funded. We've got to either raise our tax rate or either our water bill. So we've got other things to do to get this water sewer plant thing going. We've been approved.
May I speak, please? Renee Goodger.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
On the loan, we still have like a 40 pages, 40 points of different items that we still have to do. And most of it unfortunately falls upon Dan. And it'll be, once that is done, we have 365 days to get that completed. I don't think that the wastewater plant actual bids go out for the actual work will be it'll be within the year. It's still going to take some time to get this going. It's not like it's going to start tomorrow. There's still a few things that we have to accomplish first. Just saying.
Alderman Middleton again. Thank you very much, Renee. We know nothing about the 40 things that need to be checked into. No one's told us anything about that. And so if there is something we need to be doing, then we need to be notified.
I'm sorry, the mayor and Dan and I was on a conference call with Dayla McNally a week or two ago, and she explained that all to us. I'm sure we kind of all forgot about it a little bit.
I mean, it's fine as long as something, as long as it's being done, but
Yes, ma'am.
everything acts like it's that the council's not doing anything. And we've, we unless someone tells us there's something else we need to do, then we don't know.
Well,
There's
it's
nothing
mostly,
needs to be done.
yeah, mostly
Yeah.
it's things that Dan has to accomplish, a few things he has to accomplish. Some
Thank-
for me.
Thank you.
I mean, we got to treat this as two separate projects because initially when this first thing started up, we was trying to get a full package, and we was under the understanding in order to get the loan that the city hall had to be brought up to date. However, that doesn't have to happen. I mean, it's got to be treated now like two separate projects, and we can start over. So that's the way I understand it at this point. But I will call. Dan and I can talk to John tomorrow to see what's he recommend we do. But we can have him come up here and talk to the council at the next council meeting. But in the meanwhile, we can see what we need to do as far as. I know we're gonna have to have a feasibility study done because that's kind of out of our hands. Any more discussion on the real property acquisitions?
Well, while we're all here, the last time that I spoke to Mr. Perkins about this, he did explain to me that while we could seek reimbursement on the project that he's prepared to finance, which is the Community Facilities Improvement Loan. That's a program that they have in the USDA that's set up for that. Now he heads that up. But as far as getting an architect, doing all of that kind of stuff, that's something the city would have to pay for itself. And that generally, once they sign off on the loan, that is written into it, just like we can purchase the real property for the wastewater treatment plant out of pocket, but it's written into the loan. Miss McAnally told me that she wrote into the loan $250,000 would be reimbursed to the city for that purpose. But some of these expenses the city will have to bear out at first. And there is no guarantee that once you hire an architect and you get your plans done, your feasibility, your site surveys and all that, that the loan will go through. Probably will, but it may not. So just so you're aware of that.
Mayor, I have one quick comment to make regarding this.
Yes.
This is Alderman Sellers. But just to cap it off on what Alderman Middleton was saying, but I want to say 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we could go back and look. I don't even know that it's in minutes, but it should be. But we did decide, we did vote. Let's hire an architect. Let's go forth. And this has been months ago that we did approve to go forward and hire someone and have this feasibility study done. So we're just still sitting in the same place, spinning our wheels. That's all.
May I say one more thing, Renee Goodger? It's a question directed for Dan.
Yes, Renee.
Do you think Chris Neal with Communities Unlimited would be able to accomplish a feasibility report?
I couldn't say. I can certainly ask him, but I can't speak for him. I don't know what his capabilities are.
Okay. Thank you.
See, he's the one that done the study on the sewage usage, then,
Yes,
Renee?
yes, sir. And we're making headway with that.
Yeah, I bet he would be qualified.
What was his name again?
Chris Neal, Nill. He was at one of our council meetings a few months ago.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we've heard this. Now we have an action plan we got to carry out. So we'll do that, and I'll give it Dan and tomorrow, and we can sort out what we need to do to move forward. So I'm as anxious as everyone else. So I will do that. Okay, can we move on to resolution to appropriation of $4,999,000 bond for the wastewater improvements? I guess we need to pass the resolution now, what we just talked about. Let's see if I got it.
Mayor?
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, this is resolution 1942, whatever. This is one of those 40-point items that I've got to work on. This is one of the principal things that Miss McAnally is going to require in order to kick off the other 39 points.
Okay. So we just need a motion and a second.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 1942-8. Is that what number it is, Dan?
Yes.
Because I couldn't find any other number. Okay. For the, let's see, for the loan to get the loan from USDA for $4,099,000.
I have a motion by Alderman Sidney Durham. I need a second.
I second that. This is Alderman Sellers.
Second is by Alderman Sellers. All in favor, Alderman Rubin, aye.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Wadzik. Alderman Deborah Milton.
Aye.
Alderman Kendra Sellers.
Aye.
Alderman Sidney Durham. Alderman Sidney Durham.
I said aye.
Oh,
My voice, sorry.
any more discussion? There no more discussion? Motion passed. Next on the agenda is the resolution to engage a bond counsel for issuance of the $4,099,000 bond to finance the wastewater improvement. So this is just a bond to prove what we just went over. So I need a motion and a second.
Alderman Middleton, I make a motion that we accept the resolution to engage a bond in the issuance of $4,099,000.
Mayor,
Yes, man.
just for clarification, this resolution, Alderman, is to engage the services of a bond counsel, an attorney, a legal firm recommended by our city attorney and required. This is number 2 of 40 that I need to get taken care of. We have to hire a law firm that specializes in writing and issuing these bonds. What a bond is something that the city is going to sell. We're forming a corporation, if you will, and we're going to sell shares. That's the bond. In this particular case, though, USDA will buy all the shares. And our interest rate on the loan, I don't think it's been mentioned to you. When we started out negotiating this loan, was 4%, which was super attractive, 4% over 40 years. At the current rates, with the Fed lowering interest rates to 0, we're going to lock in 1.8% interest for 40 years. This bond counsel is going to charge, he listed his fee structure in here, but what we're talking about is $18,698 that is going to be paid to him through the loan proceeds as well. It's nothing out of pocket for us. But we do have to have this bond attorney, and we have to have him signed up, and he will walk us through and see to it that the bond is properly issued and sold to the USDA, just so you understand.
All right, thank you for that, Dan. So we had a motion made by Alderman Milton. We need a second.
I second it.
Alderman
Cindy Durham, yeah.
All in favor? Alderman Ruben Weiss,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Wadzik,
Aye.
Alderman Deborah Milton,
Aye.
Alderman Kendra Sellers.
Aye.
Alderman Cindy Durham.
Ah.
There any more discussions? Everybody understand what Dan was saying? No more discussions, motion passed. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. I guess Calvin Sellers, Judge Sellers there. Anybody have any questions? Look over Judge Sellers' report. Does anybody have any questions about any of the reports?
I have a question. Cindy Durham.
Alderman Cindy,
Uh,
go ahead.
what is the status of the payment? I mean, I know today's just the 11th, but is it pretty bad for collections?
I haven't been paying, I think Renee may be able to answer that a little better than I, as far as how, are you talking about people not paying their bills entirely?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I saw a report that Renee had provided to us.
Yeah, I believe it's part of her report to you.
Oh, is it?
States-
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
Yes, I know Renee's there.
Yes, sir.
I was just looking at your report on the question Cindy had.
Okay. It's not too bad.
Speaking of that, it's Renee Goodger. The end of May will be the 90-day period of time that I have told everyone. What would your directives be as far as non-payments for 30 days or 90 days consecutively? Will you want me to cut them off, or shall we proceed?
Will it,
Let people not pay?
90 days isn't in May? Is
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes, ma'am.
From
March.
From March?
March. We started in March, Cindy.
What day in March?
We did not do cutoffs in March.
Well, it hadn't been but about not quite 60 days.
We haven't done cutoffs in 90 days. It started in the middle of March and we did not cut off in March.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't want to cut off anybody if we can help it. We need to work something out. I don't know what, but at this
But
point,
the letter that you wrote, Mayor, will be going out in the mail by the end of this week. Angie has pretty much done them at City Hall. And so everyone should get that letter before the cutoff date. And we're hoping that we'll get some folks to call in and, get on the list of why they can't pay their bills as your letter directed. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen just yet.
This is Shannon Wadzik.
Shannon,
Can you hear me?
Barely.
There.
Now can you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, has the ones that are behind, I mean, I know that you're going to have your ones that was always behind before this, but have they even made attempts to get in contact with anybody to see what they need to do as far as setting up payments, or have they done anything to try to get their end taken care of? Or are they just waiting to see how far they can push it?
Yes, we have not, I have got no one on record as calling in and saying, I can't pay my bill because of this, and here's my documentation. None. And that's what I've told everyone that has called. Are you cutting us off this month? You need documentation. You need to try to make a payment. And I don't have a single one documented. I don't know. I don't think Angie has either. We communicate pretty frequently. I don't think she does either.
well, maybe,
But like I said, the
Maybe.
letter will be out this week.
yeah, maybe when they get the letter, they will, hopefully.
Ruben Vice here.
Yes, Ruben?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Renee. We waived the late fee, and now we didn't waive the late fee.
No, sir.
No,
Okay. How about the disconnection fee or reconnection fee?
No, sir.
But we're not disconnecting them, but we're not disconnecting
But
the fee.
by law, as Dan explained last month, by the state law, if we charge a $75 disconnect fee, even though they're not disconnected, we must charge them the $75 fee. There is a program from FEMA that may come around or may not and offer the city to pay those disconnect fees so that we may refund them to the customers. But we haven't seen or heard anything from FEMA at this time.
Cindy
Cindy?
Durham, I have a question. Mayor, did you get some documentation from the Texas A&M Extension Office?
yes.
Because I've been in contact with them and they wanted to know if we got that. They act like that's could help some people.
Yeah, it's a program, it's not conclusive, but yeah, I do have something on that. It's another resource, maybe they may get some assistance on. Yeah, I do have that, but I forwarded it to everybody, but
Yeah.
it's a process you have to go through. But yeah, I got something like that last week.
This is Alderman Shannon Wadzik.
Yes.
Is there something that we need to be doing to be in contact with FEMA? Is there a step that we need to be taking, or do we have to sit back and wait for FEMA to come to us? Do we not need to make some kind of?
I think we're supposed to be doing what we're doing, keeping up with those choices, and then if they're not going to assist us to, when it's over, if it's over, we're supposed to file those, and if they don't help us, then we make the next move. I think all we need to do right now is keep up with those costs, and all those expenses that we've been incurred to while this is going on. That's not the norm.
It looks to me like because of how long this is going on, that somewhere along the line, somebody needs to contact FEMA. Dan, Angie, Renee, somebody that needs to contact them and see where everything is standing, because I know we're not the only, community that is needing that assistance, and they have no way of knowing how long this is going to continue.
Renee Goodger, I believe that they contact us. Anytime there's a federal disaster like that, it goes from federal level to state level, and then it trickles down to all the communities. Just like when we had the flood, it went from federal level to state level to us, to the counties that had the emergency. And I think that probably will be one of the last, because smaller communities are always the last. But we can check into it.
Thank you.
There's a county chair that Dana, as a local emergency manager, keeps me informed of, and she has submitted the criteria. I told her to list, what we're supposed to list is costs incurred by the city that are directly attributable to the COVID-19 virus, such as buying hand sanitizer if we can find it, trying to find masks to give to our employees to wear if we can find them. You have to pay piratus costs for those things right now. And all we can do is to keep track of those costs that we're incurring. And I asked her to put on that list also people who aren't able to keep up with their utility payments. If there might be, that would maybe a cost that the city would incur. Not even clear if that is a definable cost directly contributable to this. Our particular economy has not been so directly impacted by this COVID virus as other cities and other economies have. The primary damage to our local economy has been through the downturn in the oil market, which has nothing to do with the COVID crisis. So I'm keeping track of those expenses. The federal government has, well, only today I saw there was a headline that the governor has agreed to participate in some level of funding, that they were making funding available to cities with populations of 500,000 or more directly. Little towns, we haven't been thought about. But there is some portion of funding that was made available by Congress last time, and our governor has finally agreed that he may make part of that available to some of the smaller districts in the state. That's all I know.
Any more questions of the public works?
Oh, not public,
Sandy?
not public works. I was just gonna tell Dan that I was told by the county extension agent that several masks and other things was brought in to Dana for use for the community. Have you heard about that?
When this all started, Dana was real good. We got some masks,
Okay.
but and just today, and I get the same emails. I get hundreds of emails every day.
Yeah.
But those supplies, even today, they're being offered to first responders, not necessarily to just anybody. Masks, personal protective equipment, all that stuff is still in such short supply that all priority is given to first responders. My normal sources of supplies, just for hand sanitizer, which we need to have in here because Angie and I are 2 feet apart. We're not 6 feet apart. We're 2 feet apart. We wear masks. and we have to sanitize our hands constantly. I can't buy it. I finally
Okay.
found a source. Renee is seeking a source from someplace that I think you put her in touch with, Shannon.
It will be here. It should be here. I don't know if y'all can hear me. It should be
But
here
in
tomorrow.
the meantime, the virus doesn't wait.
Well, it will be
So-
here tomorrow.
But
Thank
at
you.
any rate, yeah, the resources that are being offered, but they're being offered to first responders and to the hospitals and to the people who really need it more.
Okay.
Hopefully, things will catch up. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I got that email today sent in. That's what it said, just what Dan said. It was just for those people, it wasn't for the community.
Oh,
And Renee, that hand sanitizer will be here tomorrow. I don't know if I shared with you the cost of the mask in the other discussions that we had.
No,
Um,
we didn't.
I can get a hold of Ken again,
Okay.
or if you need to, we can check to see what his availability is on the
Okay.
mask.
All right. I will
mean-
do that.
You know, but he did tell me that he would be here tomorrow with that hand sanitizer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
Ruben Vice here, just to inform everybody, I have hand sanitizer and masks at the store, so just if y'all need some.
I also saw hand sanitizer at the grocery store right there by that first register by the pancake cereal stuff aisle
Yes.
today.
They've had it, yes, for 3 weeks, yeah.
Mm. Okay, anything else for Public Works? Okay, I guess the police department's next on the agenda. Rick, you got the floor.
Evening, everybody. As far as a quick comment on the PPE, the police department's doing well on that. We have hand sanitizer in the police station, and we're utilizing that, as well as the other gel and stuff like that in the police units. And we still have some masks left that we're utilizing. For the most part, we're meeting folks outside still. You'll notice through the packet that the citations for this last month were down. Of course, we discussed that due to COVID-19. The citations are streamlined for that month, but they will be picking up as we'll be patrolling the streets a lot more this next 30 days, and you'll see that easily. A couple of words. I wrote a memo from my desk to you guys to let you know what's been going on. It's been real busy. The inventory has been done. It's been filed. I had a meeting with the mayor. He's looked it over, and he saw everything that's in use, everything that's not in use for the most part. I guess it's the stuff that is expensive and the stuff that is would be missed if it disappeared. We took pictures of it, and there's been an inventory sheet that's been put together in a packet. Moving on to the evidence room. I wanted to mainly talk about that tonight. Just a brief comment to you guys. In going over that evidence room, I have discovered some anomalies, or should I say some oopsies or some boo-boos, some mistakes. And I'm working with the DA's office. Specifically, there's cases that we have taken evidence, but the charges were not filed with the DA's office. So when I had a meeting with the DA's office, we're cleaning that up because of a liability that's there. And we're fixing that problem. So it's going to be meticulous. Spoke with the mayor earlier last week about it, since I've locked myself in the evidence room here a few days and I've been breaking everything down by year, by case numbers, and trying to get a very thorough job done. And then I will reorganize it once we're done. I do have already from the county court's district attorney's office, I already have orders for destruction of evidence. And I'll be getting together with the JP sellers there, and we'll be destroying some evidence as soon as I can get it piled up here at the end of the month, and probably at the end of next month. And by then we may be close to being done, if not done, with the evidence room. I understand the mayor told me that you guys were looking to get a firm to come in, a business to come in that would have charged you a substantial amount of money. I am happy to let you know that that will not be necessary. By the time we get done with this, the DA's office, district courts, the county courts, and me as a chief of police and administrator over the police department will have done a thorough job, enough where everybody should be satisfied, and there should be no more questions. It should all be answered by here. I told the mayor, 3 to 6 weeks, give or take of maybe a week or two, depending on what other problems I may run into. As per your request for the last meeting, you requested a schedule. I included the schedule that I have implemented as of May 10th. And that's going to be the schedule. It is subject to change in case somebody's sick or vacation, or something may work around. Some of the officers may need a night off or a day off. They may switch. Other than that, guys, I'm open to any questions.
Well, I want to personally thank you for that work, especially that evidence. I mean, the inventory, that was something we've been always needing. We have such a turnaround in the past that we don't know what we have or what's gone or what's missing. Basically didn't know what we have over there. And it's real thorough. I saw the page. I don't know, maybe 15, 20 pages, but it was a really job well done. And I really appreciate you doing that. It was really, really detailed. So, and I want to say one thing too about the evidence room. I guess I need to kind of recognize Shannon for her pushback on the last time, when she was telling us that she thought that should be done within the police department. So look like it's going to get done within the police department. So thank you for the pushback, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I'm glad.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to see that. So, and I really, everything, all the dealings I've had with the chief since he's been here, it's right on the top. I really am glad that we made that choice. It seemed like he's going to be a good fit for us. I'm really hadn't heard nothing bad from anything, from anybody. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, anything else for the chief? If not, we'll go to Judge Sellers. Y'all have anything for the judge? I looked it over. I didn't have anything.
I don't.
No, I don't.
If there's no further questions, I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Charles,
Yes.
this is Shannon. Do we have any kind of a time frame as to when City Hall is going to get opened back up?
I don't know. It's going to be real hard for us to do that, and still practice the social distancing. You can't have one person in that time. So we're going to have some real good procedures in place. Somebody going to have to guard the door. It's just, I don't know. I know we've talked about it a little bit. I've noticed that I think Seminole opened back up this past Monday. However, they do have quite a bit of room, more room than we have. So that's something we're just going to have to work through. I mean, it's still unsafe right now to have more than one person in there, I think.
Well, the post office hasn't closed. The grocery stores haven't closed. You mark your spot. The Dixie Dog hasn't closed. I mean, you mark your spot as to where they stand. Everybody is, and at the post office, everybody has been doing very well about keeping their distance. Somebody opens the door and they see there's people standing there, they'll stand in line in the next spot. I've been in that line. I've talked to you in that line, Charles.
Oh, yeah, I've been in the line.
The courthouse hasn't shut down at all.
What hasn't?
The courthouse.
The courthouse has shut down.
Yeah,
It's been-
it has.
They're
Maybe
taking,
certain areas, but the courthouse hasn't shut down.
they're taken by appointment only, but they are open. You can go in, but you have to have an appointment.
Yes.
The post office, they do have more room in our little city hall. There's no way you can get over one person in there.
How often does more than one person go in? I mean, I understand it might happen occasionally, but it can be policed. And they are behind bulletproof glass. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like germs are going to go through that bulletproof glass and get to it. I think we need to move forward and get the city hall open.
I think we need to put a note. This is Alderman Middleton. Because they are behind the glass, I think they need to open back up, and the sign on the front door needs to say one person only at the city office and one person only at the city judge's desk, because there is at least 6 feet apart for those two entities. But they're, if the only thing, with G and Dan not going at the same time, I don't understand why we're not opening up, because they're behind the glass.
What about the customers coming in? More than one.
That's what I just said. It needs to have a note on the door that says one customer at a time at the city office and one customer only at the city judge's office.
Mayor,
Yes, then
this is Cindy Durham. What is the governor saying? I mean, is there
well, that's
any
that's
rules?
kind of left up to the local government, like the
Okay.
county, to make
Okay,
that call.
okay.
Mayor, this
But-
is Ruben Valles.
Yes,
I'm
Rudy.
with Alderman Middleton. One at a time. I mean, if there's a sign at the door or like a stand outside. I mean, this past weekend I went to a store. There were people standing outside. So one went in, and then the other one was somebody coming out. One went in. They were back and forth. So I mean, if we're not gonna have a long line at the city hall, but at least if they see a sign, they're gonna respect that. One at a time, go in there, and then when they're done, they get out, and then somebody else go in there. So I'm all for the city hall opening back up.
I guess this is Alderman Sellers. I guess this technically isn't even on the agenda, so it's not something that we can, make a decision about. But if nothing else, we need to have a special meeting next week. But I think we need to, if nothing else, we need to have a meeting, discuss this, work out.
I agree. I think you're right. I think we need to make sure we have a minimum safety protocol posted and understood and clearly on our window, on our door. I really think we need to have a action plan to do that. So I know we can open up the doors, but pretty easy. But I think we ought to give ourselves a chance to absorb this a little bit.
I think that we need to see about having a meeting either sometime this week or the first of next week and get it done. It does not need to wait until next month. We're a city office. I mean, and it's not like you've got 25 people going in there at one time at any point anyway.
Yeah.
I say we have a special meeting.
Okay, that's no problem. We can do that. We send out a note tomorrow, see what's a good day for you guys. Y'all respond as quick as you can, and we can have it back as quick as we can. So we do have to post it. So we'll do that. We'll send out a email or something and ask what's a good day for you guys, and we'll do it next week. Anything else for any of the consent agenda? Cindy?
I just want, and that this doesn't, nobody has to pay attention to this if they don't want to, but, and I don't have to be there, but after, all next week, I won't be able to be at any meetings, I mean, I have a surgery on Tuesday and I can't talk for 5 days, so, but as long as y'all have a quorum, I'm good with it. So,
Okay, it's gonna be a video conference anyway, so we may be able to squeeze it in this week. I don't know.
well,
be
it doesn't matter.
tomorrow.
I mean, I'm just telling you that.
Okay, we'll see what we can do to speed it up as much as possible. So I need a motion and a second on the consent agenda.
This is Alderman Shannon Wadzik, and I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as is.
Motion has been made by Alderman Shannon Watzik. I need a second.
This is Cindy Durham, and I second the motion for the consent agenda approval.
Senator Durham is second. Motion to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, Ruben Vaz,
Aye.
all in favor, Shannon Watzik,
Aye.
Deborah Middleton,
Aye.
Kendra Salos,
Aye.
and Senator Durham.
Aye.
Motion made in second. Is there any more discussions? If no more discussion, motion passed. Next on the agenda is public comments. I don't think anyone logged in, did they, Dan? I didn't see him. I didn't recognize anybody on there. Just
No one has logged in to give any comment.
okay. I guess on the agenda, next on the agenda, I guess is to adjourn. The next, I don't have my calendar in front. When is the next meeting?
June 8th.
Okay,
June 8th.
okay. All right, Dan, I guess if you're posted, our next meeting will be June 8th at 6 a.m. I guess we'll be doing another video conference. And we didn't have it on the agenda to talk about the next item, the next agenda, but we already mentioned that earlier. So we'll make sure those are on there. And if anybody else have anything they want to include on the agenda, y'all let us know about a week ahead of time, and we'll make sure that it gets on there. Now I need a motion to adjourn, I guess. No further questions.
Make a motion, Shannon Wadzik, to adjourn.
Motion is made to adjourn by Shannon Wadzik. All in favor?
Alderman,
Oh,
Alderman Middleton seconds the motion.
Alderman Middleton made second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? To adjourn? We keep going, I guess. Meeting adjourned.
aye.
Everybody have a good evening.
You too. Stay safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Aye.